As we wander on over to the 12th week of lockdown, I think that we should look at the light at the end of the tunnel for films. There is a list of films that are coming out in late 2020 or early 2021, but today I'm going to look at the new Sony film coming out in October, provided that lockdown is ended by then. So hi, my name is Animation Review, and today I'll be looking at the trailer for Connected. Firstly, I'd like to mention the release date, because according to what I've seen, this film is going to release in the UK before the US, and that doesn't happen very often at all. It's a weird choice, but that's all I really have to say about it. So the trailer starts with what I can assume to be the main character, Rick, looking through videos of his daughter, Katie, when she was younger. It was clear that he had a connection with her that was presumably lost over the years. It then cuts to years later where we get to the first concern that I had with this film. It looks like it might be doing some pandering. Katie asks for her dad to smile for the camera, where Rick says that there is an entire world that you can experience without the phone, in which Katie replies every way that someone would respond to that. This is how they experience things. Now, I have nothing wrong with phones, but I think that the argument about phones is something that should stay away from film and shouldn't be touched with a 10-foot selfie stick. It also brings me on to my second problem with the film, the comedy. The film's trailer goes on to make a joke with a cat filter. Riveting, I know. It could be worse, I guess. So the film opens up with a sign saying, "From the visionary minds behind Academy Award-winning Into the Spider-Verse," which just seemed to me to be Sony showing off their Academy Awards. And it then goes on to mention that it's from the same people who made the Lego Movie. That came as a nice surprise. For people who don't know, Phil Lord and Chris Miller were two directors that directed Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball, a movie that people have called underrated so many times that it's actually just rated. It's a good film that made Sony their name back in 2009, before they went off to direct the Lego Movie. Sony, though, at this time was having some trouble. They wanted Lord and Miller back to do some more work for them, but they didn't want to. That was until Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'll skip over the details of how great this film is. Just search Into the Spider-Verse and you'll find thousands upon thousands of reviews talking about how completely amazing this film is. But the bottom line is, they came back and now they're directing this film. This gives me a bit more hope for this film. They're usually good directors, and at least this film is going to look great. The animation in this film is really cartoony, like most of their films. And if there's anything I love, it's cartoony character designs. It's always something I can rely on with Sony films. Next, we see that Katie is going to college, so she works on a sock puppet goodbye video that she wanted to show the entire family. My guess is that that's going to come up later in the film. Rick says that there should be no screens at the table, but later in the day, presumably by the lighting, he wants to see it, and Katie says that he can't. This wouldn't be so much of a problem if it wasn't the part of the film that sets up the rest of it. After this, the laptop is broken, she gets mad at her dad, and as a result of that, they go on the road trip. Speaking of the road trip, looks like there might be some 2D segments scattered throughout the film, which is also fun. This sets up the antagonists of the film a bit later, the robots. These seem to be the crux of the film's third act, and if there's going to be the way the film's plot might go, I think it's going to go something like this. The film starts out with Katie ready to go to college in 2 days' time. She decides to make the sock puppet video and shows everyone, where her dad says no screens at the table, before it then just cutting to night in the trailer. I think that might be a continuity error that will be rectified in the film, but I don't know. This leads to the big blowout, Rick's wife telling him that he can make it up to her, and him sitting down to watch the old clips of Katie, and decides to cancel the airplane ticket to go instead on the road trip. This is where the clip with the cat video joke comes in between the road trip, and also where the robots are introduced. This is where I think there'll be a forced drift between Rick and the rest of the family before the conflict, where he gives the monologue about technology rising to no one. He then finds the broken laptop where he can turn it on, see the video, and after this he goes to the rest of the family to apologise and fight the battle with them to save the day. I am legitimately concerned about how this film is going to deal with the themes of technology. The last time that they dealt with this, they made the Emoji Movie, and that was a complete train wreck. This seems like it'll go in the right direction though. It's got solid directors and it looks amazing with its 2D expressions around the character animation. The style seems to be a blend of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and a little bit of Spider-Verse, which is a combination that's going to work really well. But either way, my name is Animation Review. Those were my thoughts on the trailer for Connected. I hope you enjoyed and I bid you good night.